Hi everyone, welcome to WION Live Broadcast. From New York City, I'm Susan Tehrani. First, let's take a look at the latest headlines this hour. Imran Khan sent to 8-day custody of Pakistan's National Accountability Bureau in the Al Ghadir case, a day after he was arrested on corruption charges. Imran also indicted in the Tosha Khana corruption case. U.S. President Joe Biden to host Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the White House on the 22nd of June for a state dinner. This will be Prime Minister Modi's first official state visit to the United States. Palestinian militants fire rockets from Gaza Strip towards Israel. Israeli military says siren warnings of incoming fire blared in communities close to the border, including the city of Ashkelon. After 12 years of war and bloodshed, Bashar al-Assad's Syria rejoins the Arab League on a Saudi invitation. U.S. President Joe Biden will host Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the White House as the Indian Prime Minister kicks off his first official state visit to the United States on June 22nd. The White House said the visit will strengthen the two countries' shared commitment to a free, open, prosperous, and secure Indo-Pacific region, while adding that the visit will also focus on to enhance the partnership on defense, clean energy, and space. And as the two nations strengthen their relationship, the U.S. is on track to issue more than 1 million visas to Indians, assuring the Biden administration is committed towards processing all student visas for Indians. Amid the high tensions in Ukraine and with Kyiv's counteroffensive against Moscow looming, the United States has announced a new $1.2 billion military aid package for Ukraine. It will include air defense systems, ammunition, and funding for training. The package includes 155mm artillery rounds, additional air defense systems and munitions, and drone ammunition, as well as equipment to help, quote, integrate Western air defense launchers, missiles, and radars with Ukraine's existing system.
This package, which totals up to $1.2 billion, is being provided under the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative. This UAI package underscores the continued U.S. commitment to meeting Ukraine's most urgent requirements by committing critical capabilities, such as air defense systems and munitions, while also building the capacity of Ukraine's armed forces to defend its territory and deter Russian aggression over the long term.
The package will fall under the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, which means it will be contracted and purchased from manufacturers instead of being pulled directly from Defense Department stocks. The packages are intended to create a medium and long-term supply for Ukraine. With the new package announcement, the U.S. has committed nearly $38 billion in military aid to Ukraine, including $36.9 billion since the beginning of the war in February 2022. A New York jury has found former President Donald Trump liable for sexually abusing and defaming a former magazine columnist and ordered the ex-president to pay her $5 million in damages. This report gives you further detail.
Wearing a beaming smile, Imran Khan appears out of the Manhattan Federal Court. She doesn't say a word to the waiting media contingent, but the smile says it all. The author has won $5 million as damages from one of the most powerful people in the country, Donald J. Trump. Carol was fighting the case against the former U.S. president. The court ordered Trump to pay her $5 million in damages. Carol later released a statement saying, and I quote, "Today the world finally knows the truth. This victory is not just for me, but for every woman who has suffered because she was not believed." Trump stuck to his guns and called the verdict a disgrace and said, "I have absolutely no idea who this woman is." Trump, who was absent throughout the trial, which began on the 25th of April, but the jury saw clips of his video deposition. The Republican, eyeing for a second shot at the White House, vows to appeal the verdict.
He's ready to move forward. He wants to fight this on appeal. Again, he was successful in one appeal before the Second Circuit with Judge Kaplan on Carroll versus Trump, and he thinks he's going to be successful on the second one.
It all began in 1996. Carol agreed to help Trump find a gift for a woman. The pair walked through the store flirting and exchanging banter, Carol testified. Trump led her into an open fitting room, where allegedly he pinned her against the wall and bumped her head twice during what she called a fight. The 79-year-old Carol sued Trump last year, alleging that he raped her in the changing room of the luxury store on Manhattan's Fifth Avenue. The former columnist for Elle magazine also claimed that Trump defamed her when he called her a complete con job, after she went public with the allegation in 2019. Carol took to the witness stand for 3 days, recounting how she ran into the real estate mogul. And when Donald Trump's lawyer grilled her about not screaming during the alleged rape, Carol said, "I'm not a screamer." Moreover, lawyers for the writer called 2 other women to the witness stand, who testified that Trump sexually assaulted them decades ago: former businesswoman Jessica Leeds and journalist Natasha Stoyanov. And in the courtroom, jurors found that the allegations of sexual abuse were convincing enough to establish his civil liability for battery. But the jury did not find that Trump raped the writer.
The jury's unanimous decision came in a federal court here in Manhattan. Its findings are civil, not criminal, which means that the former president has not been convicted of a crime, nor will he face any prison time. Also, the benchmark for a civil case is something more likely than not did happen, whereas a criminal conviction has to have proof of guilt without a reasonable doubt. Regardless, the jury has awarded Ms. Carroll $5 million. The Trump campaign says that they will appeal. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World This Way. Pakistan is facing yet another crisis. Former Prime Minister Imran Khan has been sent to an 8-day custody as his supporters continue to protest. Pakistan Army has also been deployed in some areas as the police is trying hard to rein in on the angry workers of the PTI behind the scene. However, there is a bigger tug of war. It's being played out between Imran and the all-powerful army. WION's Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik, who is tracking this development very closely, has sent us this report.
Pakistan has plunged into chaos. The streets have turned into battle zones. Imran Khan supporters are on the rampage and the rage is rising. Pelting stones, they are targeting the security forces. The police respond by firing in the air and lobbing tear gas shells. Lahore, Islamabad, Karachi, Peshawar, all are mirror images of each other.
I'm standing very near to the police lines. Imran Khan's 8-day remand has been approved. There's intimate use of gunfire and there's still shelling that's being done from the police's end in order to disperse the supporters. You see the supporters who are coming back, they've got these bullet shells as well. That's what they're showing. They show these bullet shells. They say that these are rubber bullet shells that have been used, and canisters, gas canisters that have been used. They're using these cloths. You can probably see here intermittent gunfiring in the backdrop as well, and it continues.
Imran Khan supporters are angry and agitated. They say their leader has been wrongly detained.
अगर हमारी रेड लाइन को इन्होंने क्रॉस किया है तो ये ना समझे कि हम खामोश बैठेंगे, हम इनका वो हशर करेंगे, ये पूरी जिंदगी याद रखेंगे। हम इसे कहते हैं कि हमारी रेड लाइन को छोड़ दें। राणा सलोल्ला सोच ले कि अगर तुम ये समझ रहे हो कि पीटीआई खामोश हो रहे जाएंगे, इमरान खान हमारी रेड लाइन है और तू कह रहा है कि ये नैब ये सब कुछ तू तमाशा कर रहा है। हमारी नज़र में तो अवाम जाहल हुई पड़ी है। जो वो ये काम करके गए हैं ना, बेवकूफ़ी की है उन्होंने। यहाँ आके एक तोड़ फोड़ करके उनको क्या मिलेगा? नुकसान करके किसका? आवाम का ही नुकसान कर रहे हैं ना।
Away from the streets, some protesters also targeted the army. These are images from Lahore, where Corps Commander's house was attacked. The protesters took away a lot of things, including peacocks kept inside the house. They also stole some chicken korma, a traditional chicken recipe, and a bottle of Coke to wash it down. Behind this lies something very deep: anger against the most powerful force in the South Asian country, the Pakistan Army. When Imran Khan was arrested on Tuesday, his party had said this.
Imran Khan Imran Khan is our red line. He's an honest leader. He has done no crime.
Perhaps Imran Khan had crossed a red line. He openly took aim and attacked Pakistan's Inter-Services Intelligence Agency and Pakistan Army.
ISPR says that I've insulted the army by naming an officer. The intelligence officer tried to kill me twice. Only one institution should not be respected. Every citizen deserves respect.
That's the ostensible reason for the Pakistan Rangers arresting the former Prime Minister. The former Oxford-educated international cricketer's supporters are not blaming the civilian government led by Shehbaz Sharif, but the powerful military of orchestrating his arrest. Never before seen, angry demonstrators protesting around military garrisons. Remember, Imran Khan is facing 120 cases ranging from terrorism and sedition, and corruption is the least of them. There are no easy exits for either Imran, the Pak government or the army. The volatile situation is likely to get uglier, pushing the nation into yet another crisis. With Anas Malik, Bureau Report, WION World as well.
All right, to get the latest, we are joined by WION's Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik. Anas, it seems that the situation is out of hand from what we're seeing on this side of the world. And we have to note that a conviction for Imran Khan would mean that he won't be able to run for any office later on this year as there are elections. So tell us about the mood right now.
Well, the mood is grim and they're charged. The PTI supporters are charged. Yesterday when we spoke, there were sporadic protests and they continue even today, mostly in parts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, parts of Punjab and in the peripheries of Islamabad. Particularly in Islamabad, the only protest or the only resistance that we're seeing is around the place where Imran Khan is being held, that is the police lines. You just saw that report. We heard rubber bullets or intermittent gunfire and use of tear gas being done. We were a witness to that ourselves, and largely speaking, the PTI says that there has been casualties. Hospitals also confirm that there have been injuries and deaths as a result of these protests that have been taking place since yesterday. But a short while back, Susan, very interestingly, we heard a very harsh and a hard-hitting statement coming in from the military, warning in as many and clear words that whatever that has been done since the past 24 hours is not acceptable and it will be responded and duly rebutted in the same manner or even in the harshest manner, because, quote, what this mob under political cloak has done, it is something that the enemies of Pakistan could not do in the past 75 years. Unquote. That is what the ISPR press release says. So going forward, the mob mentality that PTI has been opting for while attacking these sensitive installations, these historic buildings, particularly that of important to the military, I think that is a red line that has been crossed, and we would be looking at a much more harsher and a severe reaction coming in from the government. The government has already called the military and approved the requisition for the military to be positioned in parts of Islamabad, parts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and parts of Punjab, and probably in the next 24 hours or so we'll be seeing that the situation tends to sort of cool down compared to how it has been since the time Imran Khan was arrested. Susan?
All right, well, Anas, thank you so much for that, and we'll be keeping a close eye on the latest developments and, of course, speaking with you as we continue. Thank you. Japan and South Korea are set to agree to link their radar via a U.S. system. This is to share real-time information on North Korea's ballistic missile. Defense ministers from Japan, South Korea, and the United States plan to reach an agreement on the sidelines of an ASEAN defense summit to be held in Singapore early next year. According to reports, South Korea will form a group with Japan and the United States to share information about North Korea's missiles. Ties between Japan and South Korea have warmed in recent months in the face of the North Korean threat. And with North Korea launching ballistic missiles at an unprecedented pace in the past year, the three countries in November did agree to speed up information sharing. Japan and South Korea are presently independently linked to the United States radar system, but not to each other. Here's a new dimension to the raging China-U.S. tussle over issues of power, politics, and economy. A new study suggests that people of both countries might belong to the same lineage. The finding says that prehistoric settlers in America came all the way from China. America is said to be the last continent to see human settlement, but how and where these humans come from has intrigued scientists for the longest time. A new genetic study in Cell Reports finds that some of the first arrivals came from China in two waves, the first during the last ice age and the second shortly after. The research shows that coastal China also served as a genetic reservoir contributing to the American gene pool. During the second migration, the same lineage of people settled in Japan. This has also came in handy in explaining the similarities in the arrowheads and spears found in America, China, and Japan as well. Ancient Siberians who crossed over a land bridge that linked Russia and Alaska were the sole ancestors of Native Americans. But more recent studies have signaled at there being a more Asian involvement in the lineage responsible for the founding population across the Americas, including Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Ecuador, Mexico, and California. Researchers believe the strength of the study was the number of samples that they discovered and complementary evidence from Y chromosome DNAs showing male ancestors, Native Americans, lived in northern China at the same time as their female ancestors. That's all the time we have for WION Live Broadcast, New York City. I'm Susan Tehrani. Thank you so much for staying with us and watching. More news and headlines coming up next, only on WION World is One.